Hello and welcome to Spectrum of Wisdom. In this video, we'll be exploring the colorful world of the Gouldian finch. These beautiful birds are native to Australia and are known for their vibrant plumage and lively personalities. We'll be discussing their origin, size, habits, and how to care for them. We'll also be covering breeding and other important topics. So sit back, relax, and join us on this journey into the world of the Gouldian finch. Let's get started. The Gouldian finch is a beautiful bird that was first described by British ornithologist John Gould in 1844. He named the species Amadina gouldii in honor of his late wife Elizabeth. The bird was sent to him by British naturalist Benjamin Binot, although it had been described earlier by French naturalists Jacques-Bernard Hombrin and Honoré Jacquinot. The Gouldian finch is also known as the rainbow finch, Gould's finch, or the Lady Gouldian finch, and sometimes simply as Gould. It is closely related to the parrotfinches in the genus Erythrura. This colorful bird is truly a sight to behold. Gouldian finches are truly a spectacle of nature with their vibrant colors. Both males and females are adorned with black, green, yellow, and red markings, although the females are usually less brightly colored. A key difference between the sexes is the color of their chests. Males boast a purple chest, while females have a lighter mauve one. These finches measure about 125 to 140 millimeters in length. Their heads may be red, black, or yellow. Interestingly, these were once thought to be three different types of finches, but it's now known that these are just color variants of the same species found in the wild. Selective breeding has led to the development of mutations resulting in blue, yellow, and silver backs instead of green. One unique feature of Gouldian finches is the prominent rounded tubercles with an opalescent luster at the back of their gape. These tubercles are often mistakenly described as phosphorescent despite scientific evidence to the contrary. It's believed that these tubercles simply reflect light and do not produce their own light. This adds another layer to the fascinating complexity of these beautiful birds. Gouldian finches are native to the northern regions of Australia, specifically the Kimberley and Northern Territory. Before the Australian government banned the export of Australian fauna, Gouldian finches were exported all over the world. As a result, there are now viable captive breeding populations of these beautiful birds in many countries. It's amazing to think that these colorful creatures have found homes all around the globe. It's sad to hear that the number of Gouldian finches in the wild has decreased dramatically in the 20th century due to human-caused habitat loss. The population went from hundreds of thousands in the early 20th century to 2,500 or fewer by the 1980s, and the current estimated population continues to be 2,500 or fewer birds. While early research suggested that a parasite called the air sac mite was responsible for the species' decline, this is no longer considered a major factor. The primary threat to wild Gouldian finch populations is an increase in extensive wildfires in the late dry season of its native habitat. These fires negatively impact the availability of both tree hollows for breeding and the seeds that make up the bulk of the Gouldian finch's diet. Cyclones and climate change have also had a negative impact on tree hollow availability in the Northern Territory. It's important that we take steps to protect these beautiful birds and their habitat so that future generations can enjoy their beauty. Outside the breeding season, Gouldian finches often join mixed flocks, primarily consisting of long-tailed finches and masked finches. These flocks can be quite large, with up to 1,000 to 2,000 individuals. It's a remarkable sight to see such a large group of these colorful birds together. During the breeding season, Gouldian finches are usually found on rough scree slopes where vegetation is sparse. This environment provides them with the necessary conditions for successful breeding. In the dry season, Gouldian finches become nomadic, moving to wherever they can find food and water. Their survival strategy involves adapting to the changing conditions of their environment, showcasing their resilience and adaptability. Like other finches, the Gouldian finch is a seed eater and can eat up to 30% of their body weight each day. During the breeding season, they mainly feed on ripe and half-ripe grass seeds of sorghum. In the dry season, they forage on the ground for seeds, while in the wet season, Spinifex grass seed, Triodea sp, becomes an important part of their diet. So far, researchers have recorded Gouldian finches eating 6 different species of grass seed, but there is no evidence yet of them consuming insects. These birds have a diverse diet that changes with the seasons to ensure they get the nutrients they need to thrive. Gouldian finches typically nest in tree hollows and usually breed in the early part of the dry season when food is abundant. During courtship, the male puts on quite a show, bobbing about and ruffling his feathers to display his bright colors. He expands his chest and fluffs out the feathers on his forehead to impress the female. After mating, the female lays a clutch of about 4 to 8 eggs. Both parents share brooding duties during the day, with the female taking the night shift. Once the eggs hatch, both parents care for the young. The fledglings leave the nest after 19 to 23 days and are completely independent at 40 days old. Interestingly, Gouldian finches have brightly colored gapes and call loudly when their parents return, enabling them to be fed in the dark nest. Research has shown that female Gouldian finches from northern Australia can control the sex of their offspring by choosing mates according to their head color. Genetic incompatibility between black and red-headed birds can result in high mortality, up to 80%, in female offspring when birds of different head colors mate. If a female mates with a finch of a different head color, she can address this genetic incompatibility by overproducing sons, up to a ratio of 4 males to 1 female. This is one of the first proven instances of birds biasing the sex of their offspring to overcome genetic weaknesses. Nature truly is fascinating. Gouldian finch is an ideal pet with its eye-catching color and beautiful song. It is recommended to provide them a cage that is at least 30 inches long, 18 inches wide, and 18 inches high for a pair of finches. This allows them to fly around and stay healthy. For several pairs, or if you want to provide more room for your finches, you may consider investing in a larger flight cage. When introducing a new Gouldian finch into a cage, it's important to follow some steps to ensure a smooth transition. First, any new bird should go through a period of quarantine in a separate cage placed near their future cage. This allows the other birds to get used to them and for you to observe the new bird for any illnesses. After the first week, if all is well, you can bring the cages closer so that the finches can meet face to face. The first physical contact should take place in an area where the birds are likely to spend time together, such as a perch or feeding station. If this area is another bird's territory, rearrange the fixtures to create a neutral space. Place food stations on both sides of the cage so that the birds can feed separately. Bickering and some flapping around is normal and nothing to worry about. However, if you notice persistent violence, you may need to intervene. Offering favorite food or treats via group feeding can help distract the birds from confrontation. If the birds are still fighting after a day or two, consider separating them again for a longer period of time. The larger the cage, the easier the transition should be. Gouldian finches require a varied diet to stay healthy. They primarily feed on seeds, and you can find special seed mixtures for this species of bird in specialized shops. In addition to seeds, Gouldian finches also need small amounts of protein food such as sprouts, insects, or cooked eggs. They will need more food during nesting, rearing, and molting, such as animal and vegetable protein. A basic diet for Gouldian finches should include fresh vegetables, pellet food, egg food or other protein, seed mix, birdie bread, a small amount of fruit, and supplements. Some recommended vegetables for finches are kale, spinach, collard greens, broccoli, corn, cut off the cob, steamed carrots, peas, sugar snap peas, and cooked sweet potato. When Gouldian finches are ready to breed, they will engage in a courtship ritual to form a pair bond. The male will point his beak towards the ground and shake his head rapidly from side to side before dancing up and down on the perch while singing to the female. If interested, the female will watch the male intently and signal her pleasure by tweeting him on, pointing her tail in his direction, and sometimes even shaking her head back at the male. Once the pair bond is formed between Gouldian finches, you can provide them with a nest box. They prefer grass for nest building, so you can purchase commercial grasses for the nest. Make sure the top of the nest box is open for easy access and use coconut fibers and burlaps to ensure good warmth during the breeding season. The finches will mate and build a nest, constantly adding and rearranging materials. When they are satisfied with the nest, the parent birds will start laying 1 egg per day. It is important to avoid disturbing them too much while they are sitting on eggs, as this can cause stress and they might abandon the nest. Around the 15th or 16th day, the eggs will hatch. You can usually tell by the behavior of the parents. They will fly in and out of the nest, or if it's their first clutch, they may look quite bewildered. It's important to note that Gouldian finches are not known for being good parents. You may need to consider using another foster parent finch, such as a zebra finch. After Gouldian finch eggs hatch, the parents will take care of the babies for the first 3 weeks. During this time, they will feed the babies and keep them warm. You can check the baby Gouldian finch's belly to see if their crop is full. It should be a bright yellow splotch. If it's not full, there may be a problem. To help the parents feed the babies, you can offer them egg food or other protein. Between 23 to 26 days after hatching, the babies will fly from the nest. At this point, you can start offering them food and water outside of the nest. It's important to keep an eye on them to make sure they are eating and drinking on their own. Thank you for watching this video about the Gouldian finch on the Spectrum of Wisdom channel. We hope you enjoyed learning about their origin, care, and everything in between. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more informative content. We appreciate your support and look forward to seeing you in our next video.